We try to essentially envision what film production and a movie studio in the age of AI will look like, and it's all sort of ground zero for that here.
This stuff isn't AI, this is actual real Harrier jump jet, Lynx helicopter.
Hi, I'm Paton. I am the CEO of AiMation Studios, and today Hayden has come down to meet us at our studio space. So we'll give you a little tour around and show you what we've got. What was it, cribs?
Cribs, yeah.
Yeah, come on then, we'll do the cribs thing. Let's have a look.
So this space, was it here before you got here? How long have you been in here?
Yeah, so we purpose-built the space for what we're doing here at the studio. It was built during COVID, actually. We put this together, and then we've been fully operational as a company since 2022. I think we founded in June of that year. Okay. We did 2 years of heavy R&D.
What do you primarily use the space for?
So everything we make is made in here. So where the robots grow, for instance, was done entirely in here. The team are inside this office. The back wall over there is, it might look like a big grey wall, but it's actually an artificial intelligence virtual production space.
So the green screen, how much did you use the green screen in production?
Almost not at all. It's actually a new addition. We added it probably August of this year because we had a new AI pipeline we wanted to test for our video-to-video pipeline.
All right.
So we installed that then. So primarily it was all about this, and when we made Where the Robots Grow back in March, all the AI motion capture happened here in this space. We used mobile phones, we used Wonder Dynamics, we didn't use any motion capture suits or dots. Yeah, so essentially you're looking at where everything gets done. It's a bit of a mad laboratory. We experiment, we test out pipelines, we try to essentially envision what film production and a movie studio in the age of AI will look like, and it's all sort of ground zero for that here.
It's fantastic. The scaffolding, do you use that for essentially faking buildings that you have people climb on, or is that actually just for production reasons?
So a little known fact, before we made Where the Robots Grow, we actually made a live action artificial intelligence hybrid movie, a sort of Roland Emmerich style disaster film. It was shot using generative backgrounds for the walls. Again, we sort of pushed the AI motion capture with Wonder Dynamics to its maximum at that point. And the scaffolding, we use it for a couple of things. Flagging off the wall for certain areas was its main purpose, but now we drag them over into the middle here, essentially partition the stage into two, and we can essentially be doing two movies at once.
Right. I always imagined that if you were using motion capture, that it'd be useful to have something to pretend that it's a building, to pretend to have something to jump off of, but that's not. You've got no crash mats, I suppose.
No, we have got some crash mats. I can show you the rest of the studio space. So we did use the actual scaffolding for bits in the live action film that we did. There was astronauts in it. You know, they were running away from a disaster on the lunar surface. So we did use them for like capturing motion capture, jumping on things. We're very hands-on as a team, though. There's very little that we do that isn't us in the movie. So, for instance, Where the Robots Go, I played number 4, and I was Pop.
Nice.
You know, and Nicole, our COO, she's playing crew, and you know, and it's all very much a big team effort to try to make the technology function.
But I can't not ask about the elephant in the room, or the
military trucks.
What's the story? Are these just props that you use for other productions?
Yeah, so Steve Mosley, who's our senior partner at the company, he has a real love and affection for military kit. We made a couple of traditional action films before the age of AI that these featured quite heavily in.
Right.
And now we use them for all sorts of stuff. So for instance, both of these vehicles recently we scanned with Gaussian splat technology and ported them into an AI space. I showed you a little trailer earlier where we used this one in a post-apocalyptic movie.
Right.
So they serve their purpose. They get used for sure. They're BB guns, don't worry.
The Americans looking at that would know.
Yeah.
And there'll be others who'll go, surely that should be in a box locked somewhere.
No, definitely BB guns.
So, I mean, the military hardware has got to be useful for you for other things. Can you kind of repaint them even and use them for props that you...
Yeah. I mean, look, all of this stuff can be scanned digitally. We're working on a bunch of techniques at the moment, like I can envision a future pretty quickly incoming where, you know, we only need live action actors in their costumes and whatever props they're touching, and the rest of it can be generative around them and give us full control of the camera afterwards. It's something that we're actively working on. And maybe who knows, maybe we'll make a cool war film way beyond scale using them, who knows. There's actually a bunker up here. It's a leftover prop from a live action film we did. A bomb-proof bunker that just obviously won't come down.
So tell me about the site that you're on here. How much of it is yours and how much of it is used for other purposes?
The site. So the site is 75 square acres of land, I believe. It's pretty huge. So if you flip the camera past our skip over here, pretty much as far as you can see. Obviously, we have a car park. We have shipping containers full of you know, film props and stock. And you know, you were asking about crash mats. Well, there they go. There's like a little. Most of these.
There we go.
Most of these are cubby holes full of something useful to us.
Right, man. The kind of the production. There we go. There's me get the crash mats.
Just to prove we've got them. If you follow me, I'll show you where the screening room is. You can have a little look around there. So yeah, over here we have a screening room for, you know, testing the movies, watching them, looking for QC issues. You know, generally just better to see stuff on a big screen and make sure it doesn't suck before we put it out there into the world.
I wanted to ask you, actually, we talked about this earlier, audio. On the comments for Where the Robots Grow, there were people saying, oh, the audio is too loud. Now, and you told me something really interesting about that. Let's go in and you
sure, of course,
explain the dilemma with audio.
Yeah, so I mean, look, the thing with audio is very similar to color grading. You know, you can't predict what someone's system's going to do. We obviously mix everything that we do and visually kind of color grade it for 5.1 for a standard, and we put it through quite intensive QC at our end. Unfortunately, you don't know what someone's system's going to do. I have no idea how someone's soundbar is set up or how their TV is using, or whether they've got, you know, high frame rate mode switched on their TV. So I think with any movie, whether it's AI or not, you kind of just have to get it to a place where you're happy on as many systems as you can, and you put it out there. But there's always going to be 25–30% of people who just say, oh, well, it was too dark or it didn't sound great, you know, it's just the way it is. So, yeah, so this is our screening room.
What a playground this is.
It's pretty cool.
It's dark in here, I'm not sure what we're picking up, but I mean, look at that.
We can turn some lights on for you.
A bit of everything. Okay, so we are, I'm on stage here. Right, got it.
There you go.
And consequently yes, I get it. But you've got the cinema surround sound set up.
We have, yeah. So it's a full 7.1 actually, so we can, you know, really get to grips with what stuff should sound like, at least anyway.
I mean, it's an absolute wonderland of all kinds of man cave treasures.
It is, it is. That bit we won't go in though. Let's keep going. That one's the bar. That's for fun. When we mix the artificial intelligence stuff with actors, we obviously have green rooms set up for them so that they, you know, day rooms, so that they have their own space, etc. There's two of those.
So this isn't for overnight guests. This is just giving your actors somewhere to go and.
Essentially, yeah, so that they, you know, so we're basically really trying to fuse that sort of high-end studio feel, the stuff that they're accustomed to, but with the artificial intelligence world. You know, and that's for more of the pigeon shine stuff. AiMation Studios is obviously very focused on exactly what it sounds like, AiMation and anime. But obviously the parent company that we run, Pigeon Shrine, is very focused on fusing it with live action stuff.
Right, and this gives you another. Do you ever? I mean, it's another resource to use if ever you need to.
Yeah. Well, if.
I mean, I'm not saying that you're making those kind of movies. Sorry, let me correct that quickly. But
I was going to say.
It's not that kind of production company.
Yeah, so we've also got a bunch of stuff around here. There's a lot more military kit. There's the main offices for the office team.
How did you end up here?
I met Steve Mosley 2016, I believe it was, and we hit it off. We have a very similar ethos when it comes to work and how you do things, and he's a disruptor by nature, which I think probably is a good description for me as well.
Yeah, I could see why you would get along.
Yeah, we get along pretty well. We have a sort of, you know, I don't know, kindred spirits, I guess, and that's how we ended up here. Helicopters, Harrier jump jet.
It's like,
Just, you know, normal things that you have around. Piles and piles of wooden animals.
Because I arrived and at first saw you're renting a room in a farm, and then I got here, I'm like, this is not a farm.
Definitely
Whatever they're doing
farm.
here.
Not a farm.
This is not just some spot, but so, and it goes on and on and on with just the most fascinating stuff.
But look, I think, you know, a lot of
absolutely everywhere.
Technological innovation is kind of paired with being inspired, right? And all day here, we're surrounded by cool, quirky things that, you know, I think it's very regular to see the team here having full-blown conversations with their AI. You know, I encourage all the teams to really engage with GPT voice and really debate the things that they're working on.
Right.
You know, so it's very common to see the team here walking around, hanging out by the helicopter, talking to an AI. It's very normal. So yeah, so it's kind of an inspiring space, and there's woods, and obviously, you know, the driveway that we saw when we came in. So yeah, I feel like we're in like a mini AI Pinewood. Is how I would
brilliant.
explain it.
I mean, it's absolutely mesmerising being around here. So I just asked Tom about continuity. My point being that continuity generally in AI is a nightmare, and one of the real challenges for making any kind of narrative, even if it's a short one. But so how did you get, I mean, what helped?
I mean, look,
how did you get around that?
There was obviously a bunch of different ways to skin that proverbial cat.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got a specific pipeline in-house that works for us, which is kind of, you know, either generating models and then using AI to power them, or licensing assets and then reskinning them. I think that's, you know, a very acceptable way to get consistency from a character when you're trying to hit a QC film.
Right.
But I think the future is going to change that as well. I think we're about to see the deployment of these custom LoRa models where, you know, you can use 15 photographs of a specific actor, yourself for instance, and then train the LoRa on that. And then you could use something like Kling or Runway as an API, and then boom, every shot will only make that character, and you kind of keep your consistency there. I can see that is coming, and I think video to video, that fusion of being able to use video to video, use custom LoRa's, use API keys into these generative models is going to give independent creators much more consistent control over what they're doing. You know, I mean, look, I literally listened to an interview like a month ago where, you know, Jeffrey Katzenberg said, within the next 2 years, maybe somebody will make an animated film, and then we did it a month later.
Well, and that's what surprised me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, genuinely, I was like, already?
Yeah, well, and this is what I mean. And now people say things like, well, it'll be like 3 or 4 years before we see like full control or full consistency. Honestly, my educated guess would be by January we'll see that.
It doesn't surprise me. The stuff you showed me earlier that has been around for months.
Yeah.
I was watching it, and this is the what we'd think of as photorealistic stuff, more of the live action material. We can't show it to you, but I watched it and I was like, wow, this is not AI, but it is, and it's doing stuff that I didn't expect to happen for a while.
Well, I'm glad it was real nice to be able to show you that stuff, because, you know, like I say, I'm kind of acutely aware that there's this push from both ends of the spectrum to be like, it's not AI enough, or there's not, or there's no AI in this, you know, or there's too much AI in this, you know. And the reality is, you know, I think things have progressed much further than most people are either understanding or willing to accept. But that genie's out of the bottle, you know, and now we have to decide as a community, well, how are we going to use it? Because, you know, if you don't, somebody else is going to. And I don't know about most of your viewers, but, you know, I've been a professional, self-employed filmmaker for nearly 20 years now. But I just wouldn't be good in an office job. And I think if we're not readdressing how we create stories and how we approach this as a subject matter, and if we're not really honest and truthful about what AI is and how it's going to reshape everybody's life, then I'm going to find myself in a position I don't want to be in, and as I imagine a lot of people will. And so we've wholeheartedly embraced it here, and hopefully this is a snapshot of what future studios will look like.
And where it's going to go.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.